Patrick Hicks Music Stories presents Every Grammys Ever, the 47th Annual Grammy Awards, February 13th, 2005. So the Grammys had a great year last year, a good year before that. Of course, you knew that they had to have a bad year, and tonight is horrible. Let's start with the good. Kanye West gets the most nominations tonight with 10. And yeah, I know I said that I'm starting with the good and it's Kanye West, but remember, this is 2005 Kanye West. This is the old Kanye. This was when The College Dropout was the most exciting thing that had happened to hip-hop in years, and Kanye owning the nominations was very appropriate. We also have a host again. Tonight is hosted by Queen Latifah. What else is good? Britney Spears wins her first Grammy for Toxic. That's a great song. The rest is pretty bad. So Kanye is nominated for Best New Artist, along with Joss Stone and Los Lonely Boys, but the winner is Maroon 5. He's nominated in Song of the Year for Jesus Walks, alongside the Alicia Keys song If I Ain't Got You, the Tim McGraw song Live Like You Were Dying, and The Reason by Hoobastank. That's right, Hoobastank nominated for a Song of the Year Grammy, but the winner was the song Daughters by John Mayer. Then in Record of the Year, Kanye is not nominated. Instead, we have Let's Get It Started by the Black Eyed Peas, American Idiot by Green Day, Heaven by Los Lonely Boys, and Yeah by Usher featuring Lil Jon and Ludacris. But the winner is a weird one. The winner is Here We Go Again by Ray Charles and Norah Jones. Oh, Grammys, you did it again. So this is a song that Ray Charles originally recorded back in 1967. This version is from his duets album, Genius Loves Company. This was released after his death. He had passed away June 10th, 2004. And this album was released as a partnership with Starbucks. And both of those things, the fact that Ray Charles had just passed and that this was a Starbucks album, I think are pretty important to why this album gets a lot of love tonight. This song also wins in Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals. The album Genius Loves Company wins Best Pop Vocal Album. He also wins a Best Gospel Performance Grammy, and in the category Best Engineered Album Non-Classical. And of course, he is nominated for Album of the Year. So let's get to the Album of the Year nominations. Ray Charles' Genius Loves Company, Kanye West's The College Dropout, and we see Alicia Keys deservedly getting her first Album of the Year nomination with The Diary of Alicia Keys, which also featured production from Kanye West, so he's kind of nominated twice. Usher gets his first Album of the Year nomination with Confessions. And finally, Green Day get their first Album of the Year nomination for American Idiot. But before we get to the winner, let's talk about some albums from 2004 that were not nominated. So the biggest snub is an album that was one of, if not the most critically acclaimed album of the year, the Arcade Fire album Funeral. This was the biggest thing there was in indie and alternative rock. It was dominating the blogosphere. It was Pitchfork's #1 album of the year. It's been named by everybody from Rolling Stone to NME as not just one of the best albums of that year, but one of the best albums of the 2000s. Grammy nominations, 0. Eventually they will get some nominations, but weirdly enough, Arcade Fire only have one Grammy win, and it is a very strange one. We'll get to that in a few years. Another really big one, The Killers with Hot Fuss. Now they do get their first nominations tonight. One for Best Rock Album, which they lose to Green Day's American Idiot, and one for Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group for the song Somebody Told Me, which they lose to U2 for the song Vertigo. Next year they'll get 2 more nominations from songs from this record, but they lose both. They've got 5 nominations in their career and 0 wins. Next, we've got Jay-Z's classic, The Black Album. Now, this came out in November of 2003, putting it in the eligibility for this year's awards, and it does get some nominations and a win. It wins in Best Rap Solo Performance for 99 Problems, and it gets nominated for Best Rap Album, but loses to Kanye's The College Dropout. But this really should have been an Album of the Year contender. Another album I would have loved to see get some recognition in the Big Four categories was Leviathan by Mastodon. This is an amazing heavy metal concept album that also got a lot of critical love. It's the kind of thing that should have won Best Metal Album, and then it would have been great to see get a general nomination, but it wasn't even nominated. Mastodon do eventually get some Grammy nominations, but only one win. Best Metal Performance this year went to Motorhead's Whiplash. The Grammys, even when they get the metal nominations right, they almost always pick a winner that's just a band that's been around forever that everybody's heard of. And then finally, in 2004, you had 2 outstanding projects from MF Doom. You had his album Food, and then his collaboration with Madlib, Mad Villainy. Mad Villainy is an especially egregious snub, and MF Doom has 0 Grammy nominations in his entire career. And the Album of the Year Grammy goes to Ray Charles' Genius Loves Company. I love Ray Charles. Ray Charles should have had more Album of the Year Grammy wins in the 1960s, not in the 2000s. This was a nice story. He had passed away and this album was released and became a big commercial hit. He gets the most Grammy wins from any posthumous artist ever with 5. But this is just not the album of 2004. It's not the best album of the year. You can't just give Album of the Year awards to legends who have passed away. That's what the Lifetime Achievement Award is for. If music publications and websites made as consistently baffling choices as the Grammys make for Album of the Year, nobody would buy those magazines or read those websites anymore. But the Grammys are such an institution that they're able to just keep on going, even though every time they have a year like this year, they just set themselves back farther, make themselves more of a joke, make themselves more and more meaningless. And also, I love Ray Charles, but this was not the Album of the Year. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time for the highs and lows of the 48th Annual Grammys in 2006.